Hey, butterfly poet, pushing through day 16. Feels like last week, but it's been 2 weeks, and I'm grateful, and I'm nervous, and I'm excited, and I'm emotional. This thing goes deeper and wider than anybody knows. Um, when I say anybody, I just mean uh, the people who are around me, the people that I've shared this with. And some understand, some don't. That's just a given. I've already prepared my Menopur shot because there's some things that I want to talk about um, that are really heavy on my heart and heavy on my mind because this is a lot. It's a lot on me. Oh, and doing this is it's an invasive way of something that one would consider natural. And with that said, I have many, uh, many of opposing opinions from fellow Christians who really are, some are appalled, some are in disagreement, some are in wonderment. Some are supportive and understanding, but when you're a Christian and you go against the grain or you do something unconventional or what some would consider forcing nature, you get kickback. And I have had some fellow Christians and some Christian friends and some who have been very close to me at one point say some very um, bold statements. They've asked me some very personal questions, and they've questioned my walk with God. They've questioned my faith. They've questioned not so much my morals, but my values. And I don't appreciate it. Specifically, I was talking to an old friend um, who's relocated, since the years that we were in the same church. And he says, well, I'm going to pray that you don't do this. You don't need to, you need to be married. And don't bring a child into this world outside the covenant of a marriage. Don't do that. You don't want your baby's father to have a number. He said, because you don't know where them genes come from. He said, you want your babies to have Levi's, not Sergio Valente or some name brand, he said. But this is what he said to me. Now, I could appreciate a jest or a joke, but he was serious. And he literally told me, I'm going to pray that you don't do this. I'm 45 years old, so I'm pretty daggone grown. I'm the only one that has to deal with any consequence that comes my way for making such a decision. But I don't feel that I need to justify that I've prayed about it. God told me it was okay. This is what God told me. I don't have to justify anything that is supposed to be within the confines of a personal relationship with the Lord. And if that's what the church is pushing, why do they push when I say that I'm going to do something that perhaps is unconventional or is just controversial or unconditional in itself, unconventional? Why do I need to explain that? Why do I have to be told such things as, well, you know what, you need to pray about this? What gives you the assumption that I haven't? And what the dealio? You know, I was told God doesn't want you to do this. Like, how do you know? The things, the things that people have said to me, the things that people have said, I'm amazed. I remember calling my mother 5 years ago. I said, hey, Mom, I'm 40 this year, and I'm really thinking about going ahead and being a single parent. So what was it like for you? What did you find, to be the biggest part of having to be a single parent? And she says, well, Kim, I had help. It was different for me back then. She says, I had help. I had people that were around, and she took me with her mostly everywhere. She did. I mean, with exceptional work, she took me. And I remember a few times going to work with her. My mom was a G when it came to being a single parent. In the beginning. And then some things just fell off. I find this needle much easier. I then began to explain to her that, I'm approaching a certain age and there are no prospects, in line. And I really am thinking about becoming a single parent. And I was telling her, what the options are and, what people tend to do. And she's like, well, why would you do that? I says, well, I have, I can get a donor. I can ask someone I know to be a donor, or I can go to a sperm bank. And then she starts like having convulsions on the phone and acting like she was gagging and throwing up. That's just disgusting. That's just disgusting. I'm like, well, I wouldn't be the first to do it. This is kind of what people do. I says, I don't understand what's so, disgusting about it. So, she proceeded to tell me that I was desperate and that that's disgusting, and I needed to pray about it. And she proceeded to say some other things that were quite brash and accusatory, and just began to tear me down. And then she started acting like she was vomiting again, and she's just on the phone, and she's just like, you know what, I can't talk about this right now. This is too much. I need some time to think about this, and I don't know about this, and you need to go pray somewhere. And yeah, all of that. For people to tell me these things and say these things to me, I just find to be contradictory of what is supposed to be a personal relationship with God. I don't understand why my fellow Christians feel like it's okay for them to say something to me because I am not married. I don't understand why I'm given opinions and inputs that I'm not asked for. I'm not asking for. Sharing something that I am doing or talking about something that I'm doing shouldn't necessarily garner such criticism. And it's almost chastisement I mean, it really it's going that far. And so, of course, I just shut those conversations down. I don't even update people to the point where, you know, it's not necessarily an announcement or anything, but, you know, when an old friend asks you, hey, how's it going? Are you dating? Are you seeing anyone? And you say, no, but I've decided to have a child on my own. You know, it's like, okay, well, this ain't the conversation to have with this person. This is where I struggle with the church. This is where I struggle with the churches that I've belonged to and that I have attended, and the people that I know from such. And while not everyone has had such grumblings, it's difficult when you can't count on people. It's difficult when someone that you've known or thought knew you says something to you that indicates that, oh, I just never knew who you were. Oh, I just never thought you would do something like that. You know, I just, it's like I'm the same person. I've grown and I've matured, but why are you speaking to me as if I'm doing something so outlandish that you feel it's okay for you to tell me what you're going to pray? I was blown. I was like, wow, this is what we do? This is how we get down? If I don't remember very many scriptures, if I don't remember very, very many, on a hard day, I will always remember several key scriptures. One of those is, when you speak to someone, you speak to them in kindness and in love. You should be benevolent. You should pray with and pray for your brethren and your sistren. If you go so far as to say that I'm going to pray that you don't do this, or I'm going to pray that this doesn't happen for you, or I'm going to pray that you meet somebody first before you do all of this, and how do you do that, man? For real? I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, I don't have my mom to support me. My aunt is not happy about this. And that hurts because I thought that I made her so proud. You know, you think that, you know, with my grandmother being absent from this life, you know, you would think that someone who left you with as much knowledge and courage and wisdom and you know, tips and little golden pieces, you would think that living in Chicago by myself, independent, surviving, self-employed for 11 years. I've started 3 businesses since I've been here. One of which I started off as a nanny. Now I am an agent and a consultant in the private child care field. I have people that come to me for help and suggestions and advice. I help nannies find jobs. I help families find nannies. And I started a cookie business and I started a beauty oil business. So I'm not necessarily rolling high rolling, or, you know, some type of billionaire, but I got a $1 billion heart, and I've got ways to try and finance my own dreams. I'm hustling trying to make this work for me, but I get all this kickback. And it just hurts my feelings. It hurts.